Good morning. It's Big Mike here with the Grow Show. Coming in a little later than usual. Um, really interesting morning. I it's really funny because I my Fitbit usually wakes me up at 4. Um, so I don't really wake up to a natural alarm at all. I'm always just forcing the 4 o'clock wake up. And this morning, my Fitbit it died, and I didn't wake up till like 5:30, 5:45. Just no idea. Um, Luckily, there's nothing going on at 5:45 in the morning. So, um, yeah, I just thought that was really interesting to share. The We're still pretty good looking on track in terms of like these step volumes and stuff. Want to like reiterate, I'm just tracking the steps to see, just to increase, to see if I'm actually working harder week to week, like moving more. It's not like after these 33 days of doing it, I'm actually probably going to abandon the Fitbit altogether, in terms of tracking steps, and just use like workout times and weight as a better indicator. But I am just doing this as like a little experiment. Um, I went ahead and rounded these numbers off so they weren't so weird down here. So like this week, a minimum of 13,500. Next week, 14,000. The week after, um, 14,500. Actually, need to put a comment here because I will be training in Hermosa, and that I'm sure I'll get way more steps than these. I'm like pretty confident there. Um, so shouldn't be an issue. Just keep adding. All right. And then So yeah, still eating on track. Switched up yesterday and today. Gonna have a pretty hard workout working with Skylar today. Training with him. It's really interesting noticing my weight is like when but after a lighter day, even if I eat about the same amount of calories, my body likes to stay at 222. I don't know if it just likes round numbers, repetitive numbers or what, but really interesting thought there. Inner game of tennis. I talked about this, touched on this briefly. Is the section it was watching pros and learning from pros, and the section this morning was about just not thinking exactly trying to hit like the pro, but just like observing how the pro does things and letting your mind just like watch and learn. Not necessarily trying to replicate every little component of their arm swing or it's tennis, so it's a tennis arm swing. Um, so interesting thought. I've definitely noticed huge benefits watching before I go play, watching FIVB higher level volleyball, especially with my setting because my setting is um I've been meditating each morning and evening, and I think it's really helped kind of level me out. Um the I feel like it's helping with the inner self-talk. The inner self-talk of, hey, being really critical and hard on yourself, like such a failure, whatever. Obviously, I'm grinding every day. I can give myself some slack. Like I would say I'm working. I'm working for it. Um, and then the last thing was I was talking about my gratitude for today. Man, I'm kind of grateful. It's weird. I went to bed last night. I was going to bed and I thought to myself, wonder what it's like just to wake up without an alarm every day. Like, what would it take for me to wake up without an alarm every morning at that time? And then it happened, but I am grateful for it. I feel totally recharged. I think there's something to think about there is how can I, especially before and after a tournament when the sleep is like, in my opinion, the most critical, how can I capitalize on that because I feel pretty recharged today. I guess and the last thing I've been going through, see if I can find it. My knees over toes workout, and I did it this morning. It's a lot of volume. Holy crap. So I jumped from 0 to dense because I was hitting close to his standards in 0, and I wanted to, curious me, was about halfway through 6 weeks in. It's a 12-week program. I was like, "Let's jump up to the next level." It's working muscles I'd never worked before at really high volumes too. It feels like a shock to the system because I've never done these exercises before. But anyway, we'll see how it ends up going. Um, so far, the knees over toes guys he's helped my game, and I'm not loading a ton of weight and just really taxing my central nervous system. And my back is feeling good. I mean, it's got a little bit of pain, but between I think knees over toes guy and Dr. John Sarno were on to two things, and I think that mind body connection of like it's real. The emotions and getting in that stressful state and it oxygen depriving muscles, I think that's real. And then I also think like having a really good muscular neuro connection to like what ranges of motions are actually safe for your body and then building strength and confidence in your body in those, which knees over toes guy does. I think they're kind of the same thing to some extent where you're training your mind that that's a okay position to be in and not to be scared of it. Because you're doing these like really deep lunges where you're really trying to push that knee past the toe and get your hip as low to the ground. You're doing these like Jefferson curls where your feet are on an elevated slant board and you're rolling your shoulders forward and your neck and spine and working on flexion and then controlling out of the flexion. It's a stretch more than a power movement, but I think, really working on that mind body connection, it's helping me. Um, and I think another part is I've been hanging out with trying to socialize more frequently, like once or twice a week, where just going and talking to people about their struggles and what they're doing and talking about mine to them too. And not, when I'm saying socializing, I'm not saying like going to a movie and just watching movies. Because I don't really value that, but I do value like talking and getting to know someone way more now. It definitely wasn't something that I used to have. And last little note, I think about this at practice today is when I'm serving to connect the serve to the block. When you're serving, make sure you're serving landing in the court, moving towards the net. Like, don't forget this. But all right, that's all I got for today. I know it was a little long-winded, kind of a lot of stuff on my mind. I've been doing some of these with other people, and um, yeah, if you've got any questions, you want to know kind of some of the specifics of what I'm doing, I feel like I'm a pretty knowledgeable guy now when it's starting to get into the sports science field. Not considering myself a doctor or a personal trainer, but I am someone who self-educates. If you want to talk about diet, stress, sleep, working out, whatever, send me an email, hit me up. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.